in the building.
Let's go.
Live with the Wolfpack Roar!
Let's go.
Let's go.
Y'all know what this is. Peace and blessings. It is your boy, Eli Rax, a.k.a. Vibes, and welcome to New York Revival, where it's not just sports, it's entertainment. And I'm here with my brothers, man. You guys know who they are, and that's Mr. Glass Hair, full of nets. Spee if you nasty now.
Let's go, Mets.
And I'm here with my brother El Jefe, aka White Jersey, aka Blue Jersey. You know what? I saw the new sketch and I had a line, and I cannot get the line right now to save my life. And I was like, "Oh, this is."
Was it about diddly diddle and diddly diddly?
It was, yes, it was something of that nature. No lie, yo. If I memorize like to try to use a line, bro, it won't come out. It got to be like off the cuff. I hate it.
Yeah.
I so fucking hate
Diddle
it.
and
Oh, my
Daniels.
brother El Jefe, man, is in the building. And shout out to you. Yes, you, the revivalists in the chat. Please hit that thumbs up, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate all the support, guys. I don't even want to go around the room, rip the Band-Aid off. The Giants, of course, lose to Dallas Cowboys yet again. I believe what score was 20 to what? 20 to 12? Or I don't even know what it was. 15?
20 to 15. He lost by 5 points to
15.
15. Because we can't score a touchdown.
And you know what? I'm gonna go with El Jefe on this one first here. What is the issue in your eyes of why the Giants just can't get over this hump, and why they couldn't score a touchdown? Give me your thoughts, man. Just let it rip.
They keep like their offense. They just were gaining 4 yards at a time. It seemed like it was just third and short, convert, which in theory, you're keeping the Cowboys offense off the field.
Yeah.
But then when the Cowboys got on the field, it seemed like the ball just moved easier, right? And it just people like when CeeDee Lamb goes for 55-yard touchdown, I'm like, fuck, like because we're not going to have that play. And they were just relying, like Jones was so off on deep passes. There's like a real accuracy problem going on here. But there's a lot of things frustrating. We couldn't run the ball a lick. And Dallas came in the worst run defense in the NFL after 3 weeks. And Singletary averaged 1.2 yards per carry, I think. Like, it was just bad, man. It was just like not inspiring football, even though it was close, which I'm not taking moral victories. It was close. Spiro, go ahead. I know we got a lot to get off our chest here. Go ahead.
No, I know. Listen, you're right. And, a couple of things here, because, like, I put out a tweet right before the game. I expected Dallas's best effort from a run defense standpoint. They've been embarrassed. They were mocked like all over the place. And the Saints and Ravens are two good running teams. In theory, it seemed like a good concept, run the ball. But Zimmer was stacking the box with 7 and 8 guys. He wasn't going to let the running game beat them. And you know what? What happens when you stack the box? That passing game was wide open. There were throws to be made. There was 350 plus yards of passing yards that could have been had he just been on target, on time, the anticipation. And I have about fucking 5 to 6 clips right now of these wide open throws that if they could just be made. We're not sitting here questioning Dable, Schoen, Jones, all these guys. We're not sitting here questioning. We're sitting here saying we're 2-2. We're right back in this thing. Watch out, everybody. We might have something here. But no, here we are. Throws were missed. And we're here sitting questioning Burns, questioning Shane, Dable. Everybody gets questioned now. That's what happens after a fucking loss like this.
And you know what? Not for nothing, too. Like, we're going to get, of course, to the offense, but I also want to talk about the defense, too. I want to talk about Deonte Banks looking like he could be a liability out there. I want to talk about how Brian Burns, the guy you paid all this money to, can't seem to make a play out there. I want to talk about the pass rush. I want to talk about what happened to Shane Bowen and his defense that came in and actually played the Cleveland Browns. These guys look like they were just out there playing. Like, there was no stunts. I didn't see any stunts like they did in Cleveland. I didn't see any attacking. Now, listen, Kayvon Thibodeau, yes, he came alive and it looked good. But I want to, of course, dive into that a little bit and give my my opinion on what Kayvon Thibodeau was, able to do out there. And we'll get to all of that stuff, but the defense is just to blame. The defense is just to blame. And now when you start to look at that, you start to go, man, who else to blame?
20.
And that's the thing. And you start to go, okay, well, who else is to blame, right? You start to go, man, is there enough talent on this roster? So when you start looking at the roster, you go, this is 98% Joe Schoen. This is his now. This is his baby. And it seems like we just still short of that playmaker besides Malik Neighbors, besides Dexter Lawrence. It seems like we're still short one of those alpha guys. Remember when we started launching this show, we was like, man, look like we got B-roll players. It's just like now we got B-. You know what I mean? Like we just improved slightly at this point. So we can start looking at Joe Schoen now and be like, man, are you getting the right personnel in here? Maybe is a quarterback really going to fix it at this point? But we'll get to all of that stuff there. But guys, I want to go through obviously the biggest thing that's been going on in Giants land at this point is the quarterback position. I want to get your grade and give me your opinion on how Daniel Jones played. And I'm going to start with Mr. Glass Half Full. Give me your grade and give me your opinion of how Daniel Jones played. Break it all down.
Well, and again, I've been saying this a lot lately. I feel like Jones was good, but Jones wasn't good enough. He's never been good. He's not good enough to take this team and win an important game. And that's what you pay a quarterback $40 million to do. And you can blame it on the drops, and Lord knows there was drops. But you have to pay, you're paying a guy to be better than good. You're paying him to be great and take your team to a division victory, a must-win, and you got to get a W there. Eli, we talked about this before about Eli Manning. Eli Manning was relatively good for a lot of the games. But you know what? He's going to score one of those touchdowns on one of those drives. He's going to score a touchdown, and then the Giants are going to win that game. I trusted that was going to happen. There was throws out there that needed to be made that weren't. Like the Slayton throw. Even the biggest play of the night, the Neighbors throw. If Neighbors broke somebody's ankles, you got to get that ball on him right away so he can take that and fucking take it to the house. But no, we're settled. He had to catch a fucking punt and then wait for the safety to get into it, the cornerback to get back into it. Everybody got back into the play. It's just a 40-yard gain. Fair catch. Instead of a 70-yard gain and possible touchdown, it's a 40-yard gain or 30-yard gain, and we're still gonna fight for the rest. You can't matriculate down the field every single drive. You need to have a big play. So I give Daniel Jones the standard C+. C+. He was good. He was good enough.
Standard.
That was me in high school. I was just good enough in high school. Put those C+ out there, and I got through. I got through life with C+. We're paying you so B+ money, A- money, and you're giving us a C+ performance here. So that's what I think about fucking Daniel Jones. I'll show you clips if you want, whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get with Hefe, and then we'll go through those clips, man, and break it down a little bit.
I definitely want to look at that one play you're referring to. I'm going to go B- because he protected the football, and this wasn't bad, Daniel. Right? This wasn't like get him off the team, Daniel. This was just like, where is the deep pass? And like the accuracy, like so many times, guys, they had an opportunity and they're running, and then Neighbors, not even on the one you're talking about, there's a different one where he had to just stop and come back for the ball. The guy had like 2.5 yards of separation, and it turns into him coming back for a jump ball. And then him and Diggs are like laughing about it because it's like he was so.
I got the other one too.
Like for us in the backyard, that's not an easy pass. But for an NFL quarterback hitting guys in stride, you see it all the time, and something's wrong. I think he kind of got a falsely appointed as a great deep ball passer because I think it was too small of a sample size. And now that you're seeing him, I mean, there really hasn't been many in stride throws, past 15, 20 yards this year. Aside from that punt he caught, Neighbors caught last night.
Wasn't in stride.
It wasn't in stride at all. But just like even like in general, completed passes of, plus 15, 20 yards. So when you have to dink and dunk and you have to be perfect, then one penalty kills your drive. One drop pass will kill your drive. We have not been able to overcome a single penalty this season. It feels like.
No.
Don't fact check me, but every time we get a penalty, I'm like, drives over. And when there's soft calls, it's even more frustrating. That face mask they called on Bellinger when he was the one that got fucking dragged down by his face, bro.
I swear to God, I changed everything.
That ruins. That's the shit that drives me crazy. They even called it out. Good for, I think it was Kirk Herbstreit or some whatever his name. He called it out. Yeah. He was like, he didn't even touch his face mask. Like that was a drive killer. You know, it turned into, I think, a field goal. But it's like that shit matters, obviously, in a game like this. So just frustration. Like, aside from the linebackers, you could almost look at every position group as a point of frustration. And like, I won't even go too hard on the old line because they're pass protecting so much better than we've seen in previous years. But the run blocking was obviously not there.
Listen, and let me say this, man. I'll give my grade on Daniel Jones. I think he was a B. Okay. And you're right, Hefe. It wasn't the worst Daniel Jones we've seen. So it is a B, right? But at this point, I'm like, man, I'm just giving him a B to give him a B, right?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, at this point in his career, I think the debate's over. I think we need to stop. Did Daniel Jones play a good game? Absolutely. Is Daniel Jones an elite quarterback? Hell no. Is Daniel Jones an above average quarterback? Hell no. And I'll compare. I'll give you a comparison. Daniel Jones is just an average standard quarterback in the NFL. Okay. He's not going to make your team better. He's not going to elevate your team. He's just going to do the minimum of what he's capable of doing. Is it working for the Giants right now? No. Because if you look at the entire roster at this point, use your eyes, people. Use your eyes. The guy that's elevating and helping the team out is Malik Neighbors. Am I right? Yep.
Yep.
Another guy that's helping and elevate the team is Dexter Lawrence. Am I right? Yep.
Yep.
Everyone else, we can go through that later on. So when you look at Daniel Jones and you compare it, you go, man, this guy just can't help the team. He's just going to give you these 10-yard throws, high percentage throws, and that's it. He can't even throw a deep ball accurately. He used to. I don't know what happened. Maybe injuries to his neck actually, prohibits that at this present time. Allegedly. I don't know.
They said
maybe
ACL.
It's injury.
They said right ACL, you can't plant, I guess.
I guess you can't. Either way, when he had that free play to Darius Slayton and he threw it on the inside left instead of for the outside, if he did throw it on the outside right shoulder, that'd have been an easy completion right there. And that penalty could have been declined and the Giants would have gained it. It could have been a completion or a touchdown for a huge gain. But he couldn't do it. It was intercepted by Diggs. All right? But we have to stop this debate right now. There's enough film, enough evidence, because now he has the offensive line, and the offensive line has played spectacular. He now has a number one receiver, and Malik Neighbors, spectacular.
Star.
Daniel Jones just isn't the guy. We have to stop making excuses for him at this point. The Giants need a quarterback, okay? And the Giants have to figure it out next year as soon as possible. Yeah. Can they win some games and that can hurt them a little bit? Sure, whatever.
And they will.
They will.
Yeah,
but this draft class supposedly have no good quarterbacks, right? So maybe somebody can fall to them. But I just don't see the Giants winning 4 games this season. I just don't.
Wow.
At this point. But I want to break down this film. Again, enough to debate. I don't want to debate this anymore. Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, not above average. As much as we call, and one more thing, I'm sorry. The guy that is above average, and we call him elite, guys, let's just be honest for a second. It's my favorite player. Don't get it twisted when I say this. This is no disrespect to this player, but guys, correct me if I'm wrong. An above average quarterback we've seen on this roster won us 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning wasn't elite. He wasn't Drew Brees. He wasn't Peyton Manning. He wasn't Tom Brady. He wasn't Aaron Rodgers. And people in his class, he wasn't them. But he was above average. On certain occasions, he put the team on his back and won games for us. Daniel Jones is nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. Why are we giving this guy so much rope? At this point, people, and shout out to Chris Canty, talking about, man, Daniel Jones will be here and another coaching staff will be fired. When are we going to look at the common denominator and say Daniel Jones is the problem? He is not the solution here for the New York Giants. It's been 6 years, and now he has the tools and he still can't make it a success. He just can't. You want to talk about drop passes all day? Throw it accurately. He just can't.
Well, yeah.
Why got to be acrobatic catches? And only one wide receiver can make them at this point, and that's Malik Neighbors. The rest of them cannot. What are we doing here? For me, the debate is absolutely over. I like Jones, great guy. Terrible player.
Terrible player.
Spee, I know you got some film to kind of back up a little bit. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I apologize.
No,
Do you feel better? Do you feel better?
Much better.
I could tell.
better.
A weight's been lifted.
I don't think he's a terrible player. I just don't think he's good enough. You put him on San Francisco or Philadelphia, and everything like in a perfect place, perfect environment. Maybe he's doing good. But you can't be a game manager on this offense. We don't need a game manager. We need a force multiplier, right?
Right. Nailed it.
We need someone to fucking step up and get victories on his own. You can't be blaming fucking Wan'Dale Robinson, our second round pick, or our fifth round pick in Slayton for dropping balls. You got to be above and beyond. We're paying you to get over those mistakes, and you don't. He never does. But like let's just show a couple clips, right? Because like we don't want to just talk out of our ass here, right? Like we want to show you stuff. I know it's hard to see here, but like let's just take
a little zoom, Spee, if you can. That little
zoom. I'll zoom in a little bit more for you. That's a little too much.
That's too much.
That's
all
right.
That was good. All right, that's fine.
Well, listen, you can't really see.
No big guy. So leave it like that, Spee.
Follow
the mouse.
So listen. Here. All right, just follow where I'm at here. Look at this is Daniel Jones getting ready to cock back and throw. This is the penalty. The penalty play where Diggs is just looking at. Right? Yeah, Diggs is looking at Jones. This safety over here is in the middle of the field. He is totally flat-footed. Can't make a play on this ball. This ball he's got all this green space and all this look what ends up happening. The ball, instead of being on the 25-yard line where Slayton's running full speed right into it, it's at the what do we got here? 34?
Yeah.
And Diggs, who was burnt, is now right back into play. Slayton is flat-footed, stopped. And he's stopped.
Dead in his tracks.
He's stopped, bro. Dead in his tracks. And here's another Neighbors play.
Hold on, Speed. And just in case people go, he's not Malik Neighbors. He can't make a play on that ball to where Malik Neighbors rips it out of defender's hand. He can't. You gotta throw it accurately right here to Slayton. He's in stride.
He's going too fast the other way. He can't just stop and then go back, right? Like that's not something you can do physically. Like so he's got to stop and already the ball's picked off because Trayvon Diggs is a playmaker. Yep. You got to either overthrow Slayton or it's incomplete or that's it. But like, give your guy a chance, right? Give him a fucking chance. Now here's another play, a very innocuous play, but here's Neighbors running a perfect whip route. He goes in and he's on his way out. The ball's got to be out right now. And you get the ball ahead of him and he's running and you probably got one person to beat because he's beating this defensive back already.
Yep.
Instead, look where the ball. He's turned around. There's dirt here. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's dirt here because he's skidding so much to stop instead of fucking leading him to where he could go this way around. He's got to stop now, dead in his tracks, and go back this way inside to where everybody else is. That's little things here and there.
And it stops the momentum right there.
Yes.
Like his momentum is stopped right there. What play? Now, again, Speed, like you said, if he'd have got him after before that break or as soon as that break happened and the ball was released.
Right here.
All you had to do is beat the safety. All you had to do is beat the safety.
Because this guy's probably going this way. Yeah, this guy's going this way with this defensive back. He's probably blocking him. All you got to do is beat this guy then. And I trust the number 6 pick to do that. But at the very least, you got a fucking first and goalish. Or you're inside. It's a first down inside the 20. Like these are the plays that I'm saying that are missed. And it's a reception. It's a catch. It goes on Daniel Jones's record. but it's a nothing. It's a nothing burger because we're blowing it.
You know, it is. We're robbing ourselves of yak with inaccurate throws, right? So if you're not going to hit the bombs, at least hit them in stride so we can get that yak because we do have good yak guys, right?
Yeah,
they got to stop dead in their tracks to come back for the ball.
This is another one, Jeff. I think this is the one you're talking about where this is the Neighbors play that wasn't the bomb, and it should have been probably picked off. But look at this play here. It's perfectly crafted up by Dable. All these calls are good calls. They're people fucking open. Here you got Slayton, who's wide open, by the way. If he wants a 20-yard gain, it's right here. But no, Dable, Jones rightfully wants Neighbors. He's going deep. There's the safety all the way over here, way out of the play. You get that ball over here and out in space, it's a huge reception, potentially touchdown on a great throw. I'm not asking for a great throw. I'm just asking for a catch. Here's Diggs trailing Neighbors right behind him. Look what ends up happening here. This is the end result. Two guys right all over Neighbors. Neighbors has to stop flat-footed and come back and make a the Cleveland Brown kind of catch where he's got to jump over people. And that's not going to happen. This was miraculously not picked. But look at you go from this at the 50 to he's got to stop flat-footed at the 25, 20, 28, and two guys are on him. That can't fucking happen, bro. That can't happen. And then there's it just this is this is another
Tyrod Taylor makes that throw.
Oh yeah.
This is what it looks like here. This is a little step before. Look at all this green space. Look where the safety is. How did that safety get in there to get a chance? How does Diggs catch Neighbors, who's way faster? Like, come on, give us a chance, bro. Sorry, that's my fucking.
No, you're good, bro. Here, can you take that down, and I'll show you that other play I was talking about. And this is the one. It was a big gain, I think, first quarter, right? To Neighbors up the sideline, like wound up being a 40-yard gain, and this is where Neighbors broke the dude's ankles, like absolutely shattered this. Absolutely shattered this guy. Like the defender's on the ground.
Get the ball right there.
Look at Neighbors has to come back.
Stop,
dude. Like, and then it allows the defense. And this is still so. This was a 40-yard gain on a terrible throw. This is the lollipop where we're joking, like, oh, it's a fair catch. He had to catch a punt. Dude, Neighbors broke the dude right there. Look at that. Like, he's running downfield.
Got 20 yards separation.
And now his back is to the end zone. His back is to the end zone because the ball is in the air for 8 seconds. Dude, these are just standard. Those are standard NFL throws, right? So like he's managing the game, but you're missing the fun parts of the game, which is scoring points and big plays. So like you're not going to win many games this way. You're going to win a couple ugly, grinded out games where you happen to come out on top. This is not a team that's ready for anything with this.
Jeff, that throw. He threw that like it was a honey hole shot. Like, you know what you do? You know when there's a safety coming on this way and a defensive back right before him, and you want to get it over the cornerback and be in between the safety? He threw it like there was somebody right behind him, and he wanted to get it over him. Get that ball on a laser to him so he catches it and has 10 yards to do whatever he wants with the ball. Instead, he honey hole shots it like a long for the first time ever. He throws with touch. When you don't need to throw a touch, that ball needs to be gunned in there. That's what I'm talking about. Football smarts with Daniel Jones. That know when to throw a laser, know when to throw a fucking feathered pass, and that's the difference between 40-yard gain and a 70-yard touchdown. You know, or more. You know that's the. You can't matriculate down the field every single possession. It's not going to work in the NFL.
Listen, Daniel Jones can be smart all he wants. You can be the smartest guy, football guy, all you want. Just don't have the talent. You don't have the smarts either, but I'm not going to go there. But he just doesn't have the arm talent. He just doesn't. Like, what are we doing here? Enough is enough. And for all the people saying, oh my God, the refs blew us the game, cost us the game. The Giants can't get out of their own way. Period. They're just not a team that can overcome any penalty. Any. They're just not. There's just no one besides Malik Neighbors on offense is going to help. Because Singletary played the crap game as well. The run game would stop. Dallas had the proper game plan. Have Daniel Jones beat us. Have Daniel Jones beat us. And guess what? He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Boom. This guy added to a total where he didn't throw a touchdown in MetLife Stadium for 20 months. That's insane. Yeah, I get it. He was injured and etc. I get it. But still, he didn't throw a touchdown pass in 20 months at MetLife Stadium.
If that's I know he was
Oh my
injured,
God.
but that's just a bad sign if that's the dude you paid
Oh
to be
my
your
God.
quarterback and it goes that long, whether it's injury or performance. Either way, it doesn't matter. The touchdowns aren't happening. Either way, it's bad.
And this is true. Fair Mike. You could make an argument that we're 3-1 with Tyrod or DeVito. And we're not saying that Daniel Jones has played bad. We're not saying that. But we're saying we're averaging 15 points a game. Last year, we averaged 15.5. We're averaging less points with a star wide receiver and an actual good offensive line. How? It doesn't add up, bro.
It just doesn't. So at this point, what are we gonna do? Because I think Dayball called a great game. I really do think so. Those guys were open. It's just I don't want to say Daniel Jones is gun shy. I'm done saying all these clever words. I'm gonna just be honest here. Rip the Band-Aid off. He just doesn't have the talent. Daniel Jones can't release the ball. He just can't make the throws. You just can't. Listen, and this is not a Daniel Jones bashing. I get it. He played a good game, but it's only good because it's comparison to what we've seen throughout the years.
Look at the
That's all. That's the reason why it's good. You get what I'm saying? So it just doesn't. And it's great, man. Shout out to Lewis on that. He's 2022 without Saquon Barkley. He doesn't have the running game. So guess what? A little bit is on his plate. And on Malik Neighbors is
he's got the better pass
He just
catcher.
Can't do it. He just
he's got a better pass catcher, a better offensive line.
He got a better offense. And they gave him time. Like I didn't see him for his life back there. Listen, he was moving good in the pocket. It looked really good.
Parsons was a zero. Parsons did nothing.
No.
Lawrence, the guy who crushes Daniel Jones, barely even knew he was in the game. They had no defensive backs. That defense was ripe for the fucking picking. He should have had 350 plus, not 280 with no touchdowns.
And this is the worst I ever seen a Dallas Cowboys team. This is the worst.
Yeah.
And we couldn't even capitalize on it. Like it's at this point, like I said, man, it's not the coaching. I don't care what no one tells me. I don't care what you say. I think Brian Daboll's a damn good coach. I don't care what these jocks say at these networks. And listen, you probably do know better than me, but you don't know the Giants like I know freaking better. You don't know how we know it. I don't think it's Daboll. I do think they have an efficiency at quarterback. They have a terrible. Not even I say terrible.
No, he's not terrible. He's just not good enough.
It's just not good enough.
Yeah,
he's just not. He's not going to elevate the team. He's just not good enough.
It's not a force multiplier, right?
Like what else? Whatever excuse can you give him, guys? He had the time yesterday. He had the number one receiver yesterday. We couldn't score a lick. The game plan was It was good to me. Just going to score a lick.
Do you
at this point, what do you do?
Did you hear the way the country reacted to like Jaden Daniels playing, in prime time? That was his third career game, I think. And he just comes out. It's like, okay, special. You see it, right? It's all there. Daniel hasn't really had those. Like even his Minnesota game, it wasn't special. He was just smart and he was decisive. But there wasn't like, oh wow, that's a force multiplying super special player. And he's never been that dude really in his entire life. He wasn't that dude coming out of high school or college or in the pros, but they keep going back to the well. And I don't think you're going to see this team get unlocked until you have a force multiplier at quarterback.
And can you answer this question? Answer Kelly here. Why is Jones always to blame? Why do we go straight to Jones instead of blaming Burns or the drop?
We're going to get to the
passes?
Kelly, for starters, most important guy on the field, right? Every team
pay him $40 million,
and he's the only guy on offense touches the ball every single play. He's the most important guy, and we've had 3 different coaches, coordinators. Not that that's to his benefit in any way, but he's been the constant in all these bad offenses of a lot of things trying to make it work. The O-line's been bad; nobody can doubt that.
And he doesn't have to be special, Kelly. He doesn't have to be. He didn't have to be special to make those throws.
I don't know if you just joined Kelly, but we went through several plays. He's missing NFL throws. Yes, and that's what our problem is he's missing not only inaccurate on deep shots, but the intermediate throws. He's stopping the opportunity for yards after the catch because they're inaccurate. So the receivers are having to stop dead in their tracks, losing their momentum, losing the advantage of a good play call. So, like to Eli's point, I don't think it's Dable either. Like you could question him kicking a field goal from the 2 or 3 yard line or whatever that was, because all the Giants had to do was convert 2 of those 5 field goal drives, 2 of those scoring drives into touchdowns, and they win this game. That's it.
Yep.
And
It's
I
just-
want to. I'm just looking a couple things up, guys. Go ahead, take the show. I just want to look a couple of things up here because again, a lot of people will go and Spee. I hate that. Not to say that I hate, but I don't want to use these words anymore. Like, hey, we pay him a lot of money. I don't want to hear that. He's injured. Like, let's just go off pure talent of Daniel Jones. And again, I'm not saying he is to blame in a way. Yes, he did play a good game.
Yeah.
But to
Sure.
what standard? The
Right.
standard we're looking at is horrible football, right? So if he plays well, we go, well, he wasn't horrible. That's the first thing that came out of our mouth. It's like he wasn't a regular horrible
One
Daniel
TD
Jones.
drive.
He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't fumble. He did what he had to do. He pushed the ball. And I'm not saying he's to blame here. I'm not saying 100%. But he's here to take a little bit of those arrows because he's not a guy that's going to rise above the X's and O's. And we need someone like that at this time because the offensive line, because what do people say? All the Daniel Jones supporters, the true ones, right? Was like, hey, he needs an offensive line. He needs a receiver, a number one, a show bona fide Odell Beckham-ish talent. Well, he has that.
Mhm.
And he had the protection last night too.
He's
Daniel
had
Jones
pockets.
couldn't make it. He had
Yep.
listen, and Hef and Speed. Tell me right now, Daniel Jones moved very well in that pocket.
He
He
did.
looked
He
amazing
looked
back
comfortable. He looked
He
comfortable.
was very comfortable.
Time to throw is not the problem. And I noticed like once he goes off script, it's not good. It's
No,
That's it. Yep.
and there's a little
Here's the
bit of
thing.
like
Yeah, go ahead.
receivers. I don't know if there's a chemistry problem or what, but once he goes off script, you see a lot of players become better when that happens. You
Yeah.
know, like Jaden Daniels like has made his whole career of just being so fucking athletic and instinctive that he makes those things happen. When Dable was drawing up X's and O's on the board and he's like, what do you do with this X, Y, flip in here? He's like, throw a touchdown. Like,
Right.
he
Yeah,
does-
yeah.
you know, and DJ's the opposite. He's thinking X's and O's instead of having a feel for the game. And once he gets off script and out of the pocket, he doesn't connect.
It
on
never
those
turns
passes.
out good.
Yeah,
It never,
where
you-
a lot, Mahomes.
Yeah.
I don't even want to use Mahomes because he's just like the gold standard.
Sure.
But all these quarterbacks who get out of the pocket, they make things happen, and receivers find a way to come to them. So I don't know if it's a chemistry thing or completely on Jones, but he doesn't hit on all of those X factor things that help you win games and score points.
the big
All right,
plays
so let me
have to
say
come
this.
either through. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Let me say one thing. Because a
Okay,
lot of
go ahead.
people will go, hey, Daniel Jones is coming back from an ACL. I just wanted to quickly Google. And again, this is probably something I shouldn't compare it to. But Tom Brady had a torn ACL, I believe, back in 2008. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be off a year. But the
Preseason,
year
right?
he came back, 28 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, a rating of 96.2 with 4,300 yards. Daniel Jones is not on pace to hit that at all.
Yeah.
Right. And I do understand Tom Brady's the GOAT. But when you give me an excuse like he's just coming back from an ACL, you can't say that because talent is talent. They're going to get theirs regardless. Unfortunately, Daniel Jones, he's a good quarterback. He's just not above average. He's not Eli Manning. He's just not. He's not Donovan McNabb. He's just not. I think Daniel Jones is just that game manager. I just hate the fact that we always give him an out. They just said, Chris Canty just said, looks like another coaching staff is getting fired. What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You can't.
We're
you
looking
can't-
at the coach and the GM again? Again? At one point, when did you say it gotta be the quarterback? It just gotta be.
It just gotta be.
He's on pace for 17 passing touchdowns. Like that's just not enough in the NFL, man.
No.
Like his career year was 15, and I'm not going to discredit. He had 7 rushing touchdowns, I think, but like that part of his game is missing. So like that's what I'm saying is he's not that dual threat anymore. He's not.
No.
So 17 passing touchdowns is not enough.
No.
It's not going to cut it. You
just
could
wanna see
protect
Kyler Murray.
we're not good enough to game manage and just protect the ball. Like if you have such a dominant running game, like if you had something like the Lions have with a dominant run blocking, road paving O-line where your 2 running backs both eat every single day, we're not built that way. But when you have neighbors and you have speed, which means if you had a quarterback who wasn't a force multiplier, then you can score points. Like I'm telling you, this offense is not so far away. I think we're held back by some like very like big roadblocks.
And Hyatt is rendered useless because of that. Like Hyatt is not usable because he's a deep threat and we can't connect on deep passes. So what are we doing here?
Shout out to Ethan, who had a funny tweet last night, and he just said something like, Jalen Hyatt must be fucking atrocious because like when Slayton, what is Slayton giving you? He can't be off the field. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're like, how could Jalen Hyatt not be earning snaps at this point? How bad is Jalen Hyatt? Which then you point back at Joe Schoen for that draft pick. What are you doing?
And let's go down this rabbit hole because again, this roster is 98% Joe Schoen. So when you start looking at the offense, right? Look at the defense as well. You say, man, Evan Neal, not good, right? Brian Burns, Kayvon, like you start looking at those big name guys that he bought in, you just go, Jalen Hyatt can't even earn a snap. What's going on here? Right? So at this point, I want to ask y'all this. Do you trust Joe Schoen to pick a quarterback coming in at this point? And I'm going to start with Hef at this point. Do you trust him to continue to build this roster?
I think Joe Schoen benefited in 2022 for Dable coaching his ass off. I think 2023 was an absolute disaster. And so even if you want to call that a wash and into this year, I mean, we're 1-3 and you went in on, you paid Daniel Jones. Like it's going to be the biggest, that might be his career decider. You know what I mean? Because the Giants team is not moving forward. You can't say this team is so much better after 3 years. And you say it's 98% Shane's. I think the only contract Joe Schoen didn't ink is Ojulari. And I think every other player, whether it was drafted by Gettleman or Schoen, got re-signed or, picked up by Schoen in draft or free agency. Look, this is his roster. It's completely his roster. So like, what has he done? So no, I don't trust, I trust Dable, Dable who wanted to trade up for Jaden Daniels. I trust him to get a quarterback. I don't know. I don't trust Joe Schoen with anything right now.
I agree. Speed.
Yeah, listen, he had his hand in picking Josh Allen. And he wanted the quarterbacks that he wanted a Jaden Daniels. He wanted May. Those are quarterbacks I trusted him to draft, and he wanted to draft them. It just weren't in position to do it. I still believe that the combination of Schoen and Dable can get the right quarterback in here and make things happen. Like I do believe that. So count me as one of probably the few supporters left. Has he drafted good positions otherwise? It's a lot to be said about what he did. And again, we fault him for Neal and Thibodeau. You'd be hard pressed to find a GM that had those two picks that would have picked those same two guys. They didn't pan out the way they should have. Like maybe you should have picked Charles Cross, but Neal was the regression of Neal. It should be studied because it doesn't make sense how he fell from the Alabama product to what he is now. Thibodeau, he was a bona fide stud pass rusher. It doesn't make sense that he's not what I mean. Listen, I get it, but it's on his record. I still trust Joe Schoen. I want to give him one more shot. And then if he fails, you're done, right? I just want to see this team with a quarterback that they choose. And I know you could say that they chose Daniel Jones, and I'll fight that to the end of it. I'll die on the hill. I don't think they wanted Daniel Jones truly. I think they were stuck in the perfect storm, and I talked about it all the time. I want to give him a chance at a quarterback because I think they have the eye for it. They wanted to get it, just couldn't get it done. Get it done next year.
I agree. And listen, and I'll say this too. What has Joe Schoen has done right now? A lot of people could go nothing, and some can go maybe he's done some things, right? But when you start looking at the draft pick, a la Kayvon Thibodeau, drafted number 5 overall pick in round 1, that's supposed to be a generational talent. Now, don't get me wrong. He came in and did his thing too, but it just isn't enough. Like we just said this about Daniel Jones, right? Kayvon Thibodeau just isn't enough at this point to be at the number 5 overall pick in the first round. Because look, you got Malik Neighbors as number 6, and he's the generational talent. And if this guy coming in was supposed to be that guy out of college, and he's not giving you anything at this point besides a couple plays here and there, like I expect Kayvon Thibodeau, TJ Watt, I expect him to be Aaron Donald.
He's not that dude.
I expect him to be a disruptive force, not someone you just, here's that play. Oh, okay, he made a good play. Then he's quiet for another 20. I just can't see that. So at this
Should we just
point,
say-
man, you got to say, Joe Shane,
Right.
was you right on Kayvon? No, no.
Let's just label them. Not the New York Giants. Not good enough. Everybody,
Not
right?
good enough.
Not
Yeah.
good enough.
Yeah, not
They're
good
good.
enough.
A lot of good players.
It's just
Wandale,
not good
pretty
enough.
good, but not good enough.
Yeah.
JMS, pretty good, but not good enough. Deontay Banks, CP2, that's good, but not good enough for a first
Not good
round
enough.
pick. Just everybody, bro.
Hey,
everybody.
you boys can roll on. I have to.
I gotta, yeah.
Yeah, we got to run. We're gonna wrap
We
this
gotta
up.
cook.
We got to
But
cook, guys. But
I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to share one exciting thing real quick.
Talk
Is
to me.
that
Oh,
I have collaborated with Cameron Magruder, aka Scooter
yeah.
Magruder.
Hey.
You might know him from the NFC East team meetings. He does the really, really funny videos, but he's a Cowboys fan. He's got huge by doing Cowboy fan reactions or like Cowboy fans during the game. So I sent him in some clips of Chef A. He's gonna work his magic, and I will definitely share that video once it's out. But I'm excited. about that.
Yes.
Can we
That's
retitle
dope.
this show "The New York Giants" were just not good enough in quotations?
That's
I
it,
think
Joe.
that needs to be the name.
That's
The New
it.
York Giants were just not good enough. But guys, man, of course, on behalf of my brother, Mr. Glass Half Full, El Jefe, is your boy Eli
Go
Rex,
Bats.
aka Vibes. We see you guys Tuesday. Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
New York Revival, I'm in the building.
Let's go.
Live with the Woodward Roar!
Let's go.